So good morning to all my baby boomers, Gen X, over 50 crowd, and anybody else who I've been connecting with. I certainly appreciate you guys. So I'll call it the system. Just want to see how you guys feel about the new system we live in compared to when we grew up. So how did you guys grow up? Basically, I grew up in the 70s. My parents moved out of New York City, out of Brooklyn, when I was about 2 years old, bought a house for $14,000. And I remember at one point my mother laughed at me because my car payment for my 1988 Mustang was more than what she was paying for the mortgage. So we grew up in that house. We had one car that my parents paid for. Just an average car. We had 7 of us in the house, 5 kids and my mom and dad. So we had the one car, and Pop drove to work every day. Not every day. He actually carpooled with some guys because he still worked in the city. But my mother stayed home and basically raised us. Made sure we got off to school, got off to the bus, and got home from school. Made sure we ate. So it was pretty simple. Our bills back then were the, utilities and the phone bill, which my mother used to yell at us all the time, worried about long distance phone calls. Is that long distance? Which would be calling from Long Island to New York City. And then I think one day my brother got a hold of a phone bill as we got older and realized it was around $10 compared to now. That's hilarious. So there's that, and that was it. And we didn't get a second car until about 10, 12 years later when my mom entered the workforce, when we were all in school at that point, and she was able to get a job. So once again, they bought another car. They didn't finance it, they bought it. And it wasn't a fancy car. It was a car that, 7 people could fit in, 4 doors sedan, and it worked. So sorry about the sun. It was a foggy morning here in Florida, but sun's coming up now, so it's getting bright out. Try to keep it in the shade. Walk backwards maybe. Nope, that's still. Actually, that probably worked a little better, but I'll keep it on this side. So, where was I? Okay. So we grew up in it. We bought the second car, but that was it. They didn't finance the cars. They didn't have monthly payments. So it was doable, and neither one of them had, super high paying jobs. We were, middle class. And I mean, we had one TV, one telephone with 7 people, one bathroom, no complaints, just kind of telling you how it is. I'm sure a lot of you grew up the same way, but everybody else was the same way. All of our friends around us, the whole neighborhood, everybody lived the same way. So we didn't know if we were rich, poor, or whatever. We just had fun. We lived. So you fast forward to now, and I don't know how they expect kids to get started in life, just because the cost of living is outrageous. So an average house, did a little research on Google, and an average house mortgage payment, you're looking, because it was a Google search, you're going to find a lot of different answers. But on average, it was like $2,700 to $3,000 for a mortgage. For an average price of a house in 2024 is about $419,000. And it's going to fluctuate depending on who you look at for the answer. But this is basically just for mathematical purposes here. Average car payment, $737 a month for an average car payment. So most families, if you're starting out, husband and wife just got married, so their mortgage is going to be about $3,000 a month. Each car payment is going to be about $737 a month, and that'll vary. And then average food for a family of two is about, I found, from $500 to $800 a month, which I think is light. But let's say $500 a month. So if you take, let's say $3,000 for a house, for a mortgage, just the $3,000, you take 737, multiply it times 2, you get 1,400 and change. So let's say 1,400, and then 500 for food, for basic necessities. So you got a roof over your head, you got transportation to work, and you got food in your belly. Right there is about $58,800. $58,800, just under 60. So before the kids put any money away, just to do those 3 things, they got to come up with 60 grand. That's outrageous. And that's before. That does not include taxes, health care. I don't know if you can see. There's the water way over there. Does not include taxes, health care, insurance, cell phones, gas to fill the cars, the utilities for the house, cable, internet, took some notes here, clothing, and your monthly subscriptions, which are killing everybody. You know, you got to get your music, and it seems like a lot of things you can't buy anymore. You got to sign up for a monthly subscription, which over time is going to add up. So it just makes it ridiculous. So I mean, you add those up, and that's another couple $100 easy. You know, $500-600 for all that, very easy. So the system is broke, I think, and I think it's by design. Corporate America, you got healthcare, insurance companies, our government, who else? Healthcare, insurance companies, banks, they're all making huge amounts of money. So I realized this a long time ago. I noticed when women entered the workforce, and before you yell and scream at me, I get it. Women should be in the workforce. Women are just as good as men, if not better, depending on the job situation. So I think women can do every bit as good as men. But I also think women give birth for a reason. They're the mothers, you know, and maybe the mother makes more money than the father, so he stays home. But I think one parent, if possible, should be able to stay home and raise the family. But that's no longer possible. It's by design. So when women enter the workforce, that requires 2 cars now in the family. Not everybody can pay cash for the cars, you know? So they go out and they get a new car and they finance it. Then they can't afford to pay cash for the first car. So now you're financing 2 cars, the insurance. So now it gets tight, so you get credit cards. So credit cards at 18-19%. And yeah, there's always some type of gimmick to get you to get the latest credit card, and 0% financing for a certain amount of time. But ultimately, you're going to pay interest if you have a huge balance. And a lot of people do. They need it to live. So that credit card bill becomes a monthly bill now, whether it's $200, $300, $500. So now you got credit card. Now you're in debt. Okay? Now, unless you get a huge sum of money or a large pay increase, you're in debt. You are no longer free. You're part of the system. Part of the system that by design doesn't work. Okay? So now it's tough to travel. You want to travel, go on vacation, you charge it more, and you're just digging yourself deeper and deeper. So it's tough. It was a lot easier back then for families, but when kids start out now, they got all that up against them. Just as an example, here in Florida, when my kids graduated high school, or as they got, 16 and older, I'm like, go get a job. I gave them the speech. I was delivering newspapers with my brothers when I was 13, making my own money, worked since I'm 15, gave them the whole speech several times. So they went out looking for jobs, and there's not a whole lot available here in Florida for kids because people retire here. Florida's a big retirement state. So people come down here to retire and live the life, but they realize they can't afford it. So they go get a part-time job at the grocery stores or Home Depot. I went to Home Depot one time for 30 bags of mulch. Mulch is not super heavy, but for an elderly person, it is. So I get outside where they keep it behind a locked fence, and here's an overweight guy probably 75-ish, 80. And he's suffering. It's 95 degrees out, and he's just drenched in sweat, having a rough time breathing. And I'm asking him, I'm like, why do they have you out here? Why do they have the kids inside? The younger, the 20-year-olds, the 25-year-olds now, they're inside in the air conditioning, and you're out here working your butt off in the sun. And he just kind of shrugged his shoulders, and he says, that's the way it is. So I gave him a water, told him to sit down, and I loaded the 30 bags myself so he can have a break. But there's just, the retirees come down here and they have to work. So they take the jobs pretty much designed for kids, or maybe a second income for, a family. So once again, I think by design, it's just tougher now. So more than ever, you need to try to create income streams online. Okay, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, digital marketing. So you really need to do your research and come up with ways to take control of your finances, because the system's designed to keep you down. Healthcare benefits are through the roof. So you got to find a way where you can pay your bills and get ahead, or you're gonna the 65-year-old retirement isn't going to happen. You're going to work right up to it. Enjoy a couple years if you're lucky. Hopefully not. Hopefully you're able to do what we're talking about and create some streams of income, passive streams of income, and you're able to put some money away and take control. So YouTube, like I said, this is my 5th video, I think, and I'm just going to keep banging away at it, and hopefully I'm able to monetize this channel. And like I said, I'll keep talking about it and telling you guys what I'm doing. But I certainly appreciate you guys watching. If you watched this far, please give me a like and subscribe. That helps them push out the channel more to people like us, over 50, over 40, out there just looking for ways to get by, to make it easier on us, kind of enjoy life and not get caught up in the system. So once again, guys, have a great day, and I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.